Welcome, everyone, to today's episode of Empowering You TV. I am so excited that you're here with us today. My name is Amy Hutton, and I'm your host for this show. I am now in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, yet I grew up in Pickering, Ontario, which is about 20 minutes east of Toronto, Canada. Each episode, you will hear remarkable stories of women who have beaten the odds, risen above all challenges, and are now living their amazing lives full on with the brave, empowered women they're born to be. For more information or to be featured on the Empowering You TV show, please reach out to me at amy@inchbyinchempowerment.com. I am booking, just to let you know, I am booking into August, September, October, and further into the remainder of the year. And I'd love to feature women, so please reach out. I would love to feature you on the show. For today's show, I am so excited to introduce you to my friend Shelley. Shelley and I have actually known each other for roughly 9 or 10 years. We started out doing personal growth work together with a company, and amazing changes and challenges and so much came out of that. And then we reconnected back again when we were starting, I was starting my business of empowering women at the time. And so I'm so excited Shelley's here. But let me just read to you a snapshot of her story. Shelley Vanderville left her career as a speech-language pathologist in which she supported children with autism when her husband became seriously ill. Shelley earned her Master's of Photographic Arts with the Professional Photographers of Canada and her Master's of Photography with the Professional Photographers of America, or PPA. Shelley is constantly learning and growing through involvement in the professional associations and competitions. Her images have gained international acclaim for their artistic qualities. She's received awards and Best Child Portrait multiple times to Portrait Photographer of the Year for Canada and Alberta. She was honored when Professional Photographers magazine approached her to provide the cover photo and multiple articles Finding the Child for June 2014. Shelley owns and operates a portrait studio on the ridge overlooking Fish Creek Park here in Calgary, Alberta. She also mentors up-and-coming photographers and teaches workshops. She is an active member in the photographic community, having served on the board of directors for PPOC and the International Committee for PPA. She supports numerous not-for-profit organizations, charities that are close to her heart. Hello, Shelley. How are you?
Hi, Amy. I'm good.
Good. That was a great bio. That you've been up to so many things and your awards. That's just awesome. So I know where you are, but how about you tell people who you are and where you are in the world?
Well, I'm coming to a close of my 50s. I'm 59 this year. Just had a birthday, and each decade just brings more ease with who I am. And so I guess I'm comfortable with who I am. I'm loving what I do. Some people want to go on a vacation all the time. I don't need a vacation from my life because I love it. I love my life and I love what I do. So right now, as you said, I'm a photographic artist, a portrait artist, and I have my own studio and just love it.
Cool. And you're also in Calgary like me, yes?
Yes, I'm in Calgary, Alberta, in the Southwest.
Yeah. And you're very close to Fish Creek Park. It's really cool because it's a provincial park within the city of Calgary, which makes it pretty.
Right. And I'm right on the ridge. Most of my work is done in the studio. But the outdoor studio is right out my gate.
Yeah, which makes it amazing. So let's dive into some questions. What in your life have you overcome, and care to share your story briefly with us?
That was I was trying to figure out which of the things that other people might have seen as obstacles or challenges that I'd like to share, because there's been a number. I would say one of them was growing up in a family of 9 children on a little farm. And being one of 9, it can be a little difficult to be seen and heard. So I think I became a little bigger than life. Some of my siblings became a little smaller than life. And in my 50s, I think I'm coming down into who I really am, who is not that big person. I'm actually quite a quiet person in my home environment. And when I'm working with people, I tend to be more subdued, I believe. Although I get very excited when I'm doing photography. So yeah, I would say growing up on a farm and in poverty, I definitely chose to not repeat that cycle of poverty. And I chose to go to university, finish high school, go to university, got my bachelor's and my master's in speech pathology, and then worked in a different career for 20 years. And then realized that that's not what I wanted to really be doing. And it did take my husband's illness and ultimate passing for me to realize that life's too short and your heart and your soul came here with a purpose, I believe, and I needed to follow mine.
Wow. Yeah. That I've heard other people who've said that with losing a loved one, be it a husband, a wife, a family member, really, really close to them, that sometimes things change going on up here. And yeah. So, but Shelley, if you could change anything in your life that you've been through or happened to you in your past, what would it be in anything, if anything at all, and why? Why not?
And I've listened to a few of your podcasts, or what do we call these?
Empowering You TV show.
Your shows. I've listened to a few of your shows, and I would say I'm in the same boat as the women I've heard speak on your shows. I wouldn't want to change anything because then I wouldn't be who I am. Mm-hmm. Every experience I've had in relationships, in growing up, in relationships with my mother, my family, my romantic relationships, they've all built the person I am today. And I continue to strive for personal growth, but also growth in my art. So yeah, I wouldn't change anything.
And yeah, that's perfectly okay. I know some actually, yeah, and a few women say, yes, I would change XYZ. And then there's other ladies like yourself who are like, no, I don't want to change anything. And that's perfectly okay too.
And I certainly wouldn't want to go back and do it all again though.
No.
I wouldn't want to be 20 again or 30 or like every decade is just so, I don't know, you grow and you learn. I grow and I learn more about myself, mm-hmm. And who I am and why I'm here.
Yeah. Shelley, I think you almost touched on this a little bit, but what is your why? And why do you do what you do today?
I realized in the last little while that there's quite a few whys. So one of the whys is definitely losing people dear to me. I lost a brother when I was finishing my bachelor's degree. I've lost my mother, would have been the next person I lost. She was in a car accident, so no goodbyes, just you get that phone call one day. And I've lost a second brother and then a sister, and then I lost my husband. And I don't have a portrait with my mom. And we have very few pictures of our family and me before I turned 12 because our house actually burned to the ground. So I don't really know what I looked like for quite a few years there. And people deserve to exist in photographs. And photographs are our history, and they're also our legacy. So I really believe that having your photograph taken and having someone else photographed are both acts of love. I've had people say, well, it's kind of vain to give, get my portraits taken and give my parents that.
Mm-hmm.
What if you were hit by a car tomorrow? I believe those portraits would be the most cherished things your parents would own. So unfortunately, I've had some clients who have lost a loved one. And thank goodness I don't delete the images that aren't ordered, and I don't delete the images I just don't delete images that I know the family wanted, even if they didn't order them. And that's been very appreciated. So that's one of the reasons, losing people, losing my own, not really having an identity in some way, but also it's a matter of being seen and heard. Maybe not heard so much because it's a visual art, but I believe that people don't see themselves the way others see us. When we look in the mirror, the lighting is pretty flat. The light's right in front of us, and we don't talk to ourselves the way we talk to others. It's not, good morning, how are you? It's like, oh my gosh, where did that come from? And, we're so self-critical. So part of what I love about creating portraits for people is being able to reflect to them their beauty, inner and outer. So when people come in and they sit down and it's like, okay, I'm ready for my picture, and they put this mask on, this picture mask. We've been taught to say cheese, to smile, and many of my portraits are not like that. It's allowing that mask to fall and see the inner beauty within, and reflect that back to them and to the people who are going to view that image. One family, the parents said, you showed us something in our children that we hadn't seen before. And so allowing people to be seen by themselves and by others.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Now, I as you were speaking, I'm thinking, well, yeah, the next question I'm going to ask you, the answer is yes. And this must go into what you do for your business. So what is your business about? I know you have a couple of different little streams with it. So you can talk about that, and what do you do?
I do have a full, I had the word before, but it's gone right now. A full service studio. So I create portraits, I photograph people, and really from prior to birth and prenatal portraits all the way to senior citizens, and business portraits as well, like professional business or executive portraits. And my true love is creating portraits of women. And I think it's because of the pressure on women to be beautiful, and to the standard out there of beauty. And everybody is beautiful, and not everyone can see that beauty. And if you cannot see another's beauty, you cannot photograph and reflect it back. You cannot capture it. I don't like the word capture. I prefer reflect. But you have to be able to see the beauty of another person to be able to photograph it and have it be immortalized, really. But to reflect it back to them.
Yeah. I know you have, with your business, I know you have like the art of a woman, and don't you have another one?
My umbrella is SVP Photography. It stands for Shelley Vandervelde Portrait Photography. I am in the process of rebranding or recreating my website. So if you go to it, it will not be new yet. And I have the art of a mother for my prenatal work, the art of a baby, the art of a toddler, the art of a child, the art of a teen, the art of a grad, and I'm working my way up through the generations or the decades.
Yeah.
So the art of a woman is really where I feel the most effective, I think, in helping women see themselves. And that starts at like 13. Before the teens, before the early teens, children are just so natural. They can be shy and they can be a little reserved or even self-conscious, but you get to that age around the teen, 13, where where children are developing their real concept of who they are. And the photographs I've done of girls that age in particular, I've found they're like shocked when they see a professional portrait reflected back to them, because they're like, is that me? Like, they don't see themselves the way others see them.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be changing with the digital era and the selfie. But in the past 14, 15 years, that's what I found is so the art of a woman, from anywhere from 13 right on to 90. I'm looking forward to photographing more women through different decades of their lives.
Awesome. That's cool. Thank you. Do you have a testimonial that you can share, or a story of one of the people or families you've photographed or taken a portrait of who's changed from working with you?
I do. I photographed a young woman. She'd been divorced for, I think, 4 or 5 years. She was wanting to get back into the dating scene, and she really wasn't feeling confident. I'm sure divorce can really affect one, and she felt it had affected her and had kind of shaken her confidence some. And so she bought a certificate package at an event that I was featured in, and came in, and I start with a design session. So we chatted about, I like to get to know who I'm photographing and why I'm photographing them. So she shared with me her why. She wanted to feel confident enough to put herself out there again. And so she came in, we planned the session. She did full nudes, and she came to see her images, and she burst into tears when the first image came on the screen. She was like, she didn't recognize herself. And she wrote in my little testimonial book, or my guest book, I guess it would be, that she left that day seeing a side of her she'd never seen before, and really feeling beautiful. And seeing her images just enhanced that. So then she got laid off, and she was supposed to come back to see her images, and she hadn't seen them yet when she got laid off. And I said, you need to come see them, because I can't keep all of them. I only show about half of the ones I actually take, because there's several very similar ones, so you just show the best of each one. But I said, you need to come in and pick the one you got with your package, and tell me which ones you'd like me to keep. Because she said, I want images, but I can't afford anything right now. I just got laid off. There's too much turmoil. So she came in and she picked the one that she wanted. And as I said, she was like, wow, I can't believe this is me. And she was just really grateful for having had the experience, but also for the images that were created. And these are proofs, they're not even retouched yet. So she picked the one, she sent it to her mom, and after I got it retouched, I usually give little digital files. And so she sent it to her mom, and her mom said, you get another one, I'm gonna buy it for you for Christmas. So she got a second one. And within a month, when she came to pick up her 2 portraits, she was dating. And she got a new job at a higher pay than her previous job. And when she left the day that she saw her images, she said, I'm going to it for an interview tomorrow, and I'm so glad I came in before before the interview, and she got that job.
Nice.
And I don't know if she would have gotten the job anyway, but I'm sure that little boost of confidence didn't hurt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a beautiful story. And I'm thinking back to, I know you and I haven't worked together for photography, but I have done a couple of sessions with other photographers here in the city in the past. And the first session I did was a boudoir photo shoot. And I remember sitting with the photographer, and her husband was there. He was the lighting guy. And I remember looking at the images on her computer or her laptop. I'm like, that's not me. That can't be me. And the photographer, she's like, no, that's you. Yes, you had makeup on because I had someone come in and do my makeup for me. But no, she's like, that's you. So it was pretty. So I can relate to some of the story that you're sharing. So yeah, it's totally awesome. I think any woman should go get a boudoir photo shoot if they're single like me, or divorced like the customer you had, or in a long, loving relationship with their partner. I think all women should do it. So let's switch our questions a little bit, Shelley. And how do you stay empowered in your life?
That was the one question that really had me kind of stumped. And I'm like, what does empowered mean? And I guess what came to me was meditation, yoga, my dog Mozart, like what keeps me going. Like that's the way I interpreted it. What grounds me, that's the way I interpreted it. Mm-hmm. But also every opportunity I have to create portraits, that just fills me up. And showing the images to the family, or the mother, or the woman, or the man. I've done boudoir. I don't advertise that a whole lot because I don't want to get a lot of weird phone calls. But people say, why would a guy do a nude shoot? I think for the same reason a woman does, to see themselves and to boost their confidence in who they are. Mm-hmm. There's nothing like seeing yourself quite like being totally stripped, naked in front of a camera.
Yeah, totally. So, Shelley, do you have a book or a movie or a song or one of each that empowers you to keep going in your life? Like when you're having those low moments, what's a song you listen to? Or what's a book you pull off the shelf, or a movie you like to watch?
I have very, very few low moments. Like, I just don't. And that changed when I met the part of me that always was and always will be, in a 5-day Who Are You? And retreat. But there are two songs that when I looked at that question, it was like, okay, which songs really help me appreciate life, mm-hmm. and fill me with gratitude for being here and being able to live what I feel is my purpose. And those would be The Climb by Miley Cyrus. Mm-hmm. And so it's not about the climb, it's not about getting to the top of the mountain, it's about the climb. Mm-hmm. So I love that one. But even more than that one, I love Sarah McLachlan's Ordinary Miracle. Oh. Every day is a gift. And the trees, the breeze on my face, the sun, the warmth of the sun on my back, going for a walk with my pup and just feeling into my senses. That song really, it really brings me home. Mm-hmm. Being in the now. Eckhart Tolle is a book, I guess, that would definitely have changed me as well. The Power of Now. First time I read it, it was like, I didn't get it at all. But I was persistent and I kept reading it and I kept doing personal growth. And I like to think I know what it means to live in the now and to live in the moment. So if I'm feeling a little bit stressed, I tune into my body. And that song, Ordinary Miracle, really speaks of that. like just the beauty around us.
Yeah. I love that movie. And actually, the song that Sarah McLachlan wrote and performed is from the movie Charlotte's Web. And Charlotte's Web was one of my favorite stories growing up. One of the favorite books I liked to read as a young girl. So it was beautiful to hear the song and yeah, like Ordinary Miracles. Like I share with people, I'm a miracle sitting here right here in front of you. And people say, yeah, well, we're all miracles. And I'm like, yes, but you don't get it. My birth story makes me a miracle sitting here today. And I share that. And they're like, yeah, you are a miracle. So yeah, I love that song. And speaking of young girls, what is one message you would want to tell the next generation of girls about empowering themselves? For example, if you could go back in time and tell your 11-year-old self something, what would it be?
I think it would be to follow your heart. And even though I said I wouldn't change anything, I wouldn't have become a photographer earlier, because I wouldn't be the photographer that I am today if I would have chosen that as my first path. The reason I didn't is because school photos, I survived school photos. Maybe that's what I should have said when you asked what I survived, with somewhat of a self-esteem intact, because my school photos were brutal, especially the acne age, which for me started at 12 and ended when I was 40. So, but I still would love to see everyone, not just young girls, but young people today, to follow their heart, to search what it is that really feeds their soul and follow that path, and not doubt themselves. Obviously, the arts are considered, like not necessarily the best way to make a living. So I went about, a career from here. Mm-hmm. How am I going to support myself? How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to, all those things.
Yeah.
Not how am I going to feed my soul? How am I going to nurture my creative needs? So I did a lot of creative things along the way to try to, in my off time as hobbies. I grow orchids. I quilted for about 10 years. But when I started photography, I really felt I was home. Mm-hmm. So I'd like the young girls of today and the boys too, to really know who they are and to follow that. Mm-hmm. And it's not easy getting there. So they might not get there any faster than I did, but yes, hopefully they keep searching for who they are and they find themselves and what really lights them up.
Yeah, totally. And that's, if I can toot my own horn for a second, that's where I come in to work with that young age group, that 11 to 17-year-old girls, to say, okay, let's figure out, be okay with who you are and do what you want to do and things like that. So, yeah. So let's switch, Shelley, back to some more business type questions. And what is coming up in your studio, in your classes or anything? What's coming up that our viewers should know about?
Well, there's some things coming up that I can't quite share yet. So I hope to come back when I've got that more ready to launch. Mm-hmm. But this summer we do plan on providing the fairy portraits again. So I create a forest in my studio, and it has a pond. It's not a real pond, it's a mirror, but we create a forest. And people say, is that a digital background? And I'm like, no, because children come in and adults. And when you have a real set, even though it's, artificial plants and flowers and whatnot, and a mirror, not real water, but they walk in and their eyes just light up. So I love to see children without an iPad or an iPhone or a TV in front of them. I love to see them play, partially because I grew up on a farm and we worked really hard, and we didn't really know the meaning of play. Because if we didn't have something to do, my mom would find something for us to do. So that would always work. Yeah. And so I guess I kind of live vicariously through my clients. And so the fairies is something that's coming up. We haven't picked the date. It might be sometime, it probably will be one of the weekends in August. And there will be limited sessions. I typically only photograph one session per day. And the fairies, I'll be doing more than one, because it'll be one setup and it's all the same thing, same but different, because I want to make it a true, a unique experience for each person who comes, but at the same time, I don't have to tear down the set and redo it. And my brain is in one place. I can't imagine photographing a newborn and then an executive, like a business portrait. Like my head would spin around.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Probably before Christmas, we'll also be doing princesses. So I do plan on having my themed portraits, or my limited edition portraits. Are limited because they're offered once a year, and I want to get those going again because they're a lot of fun.
That's awesome. And Shelley, what's next for you, or what's another intention? Like, dream big. What's another intention you've set that you want to see for your business?
Well, I was hoping to be on the cover of Avenue magazine by now, but I haven't quite. As I said in my bio, I tend to be a lifelong learner, and I learn through professional photographic competition. Competitions at the professional level are anonymous. So if a judge knows you made that image, they cannot judge it. They have to turn it over to somebody else to judge, because they don't want bias. So last year I received a bronze medal at the international competition, and this year I'm aiming for a silver. I'd be happy to take higher than that, but I'm aiming for a silver. They're being judged really soon. I entered about 2 weeks ago, and so those images are going to be judged. And last year I was going to enter the Photographic World Cup. Chickened out. So this coming year I will be entering the Photographic World Cup.
Cool.
You won't usually see images that are going into competition on my Facebook or anywhere until they've gone through all of the levels, because of the need to be anonymous.
Yeah.
A lot of photographers who follow me, and many of them would be judges. So they might not remember that was mine, but at the same time, I like to keep it anonymous until I'm finished with the whole series of competitions, starting at provincial, Canadian, international, and next year for the first time, World Cup. So just entering is going to be a win.
Cool.
If I get anywhere with the World Cup, that'll be a bonus, but just entering is going to be a win.
Cool. I didn't realize that photography and portraits and such have competitions like that. So I'm guessing like there's portrait, like what you do, but is there like other categories like landscape and
yeah, everything. So there, each year in Canada, we select a photographic artist of the year. So those are the landscape, wildlife, photographers that don't fit into the other categories, which would be portrait artist of the year, which I took provincially and nationally. And then commercial photographer of the year is people who do business, not just business portraits, but architecture, business reports, all the commercial type products, photographing products.
And food, I think, too, right? Would be in there?
What's that?
Food would be in there, too?
Probably under commercial, yes.
Yeah. Yes. I knew someone for a while she was a photographer, but her specialty was food. And she would take photos of food for magazines or for menus or such like that.
Yeah, I actually have done foods, but and I would do it again, but it's not my love. Although it was awesome, I got to eat all the dishes I photographed. It's for a menu.
That's awesome.
Awesome. And then the last category is wedding photographer of the year.
Yeah.
So the international competition has different categories, but it's not quite the same. So they base it on, and you are able to enter 4 images, and if all 4 are accepted, you get a bronze. If all 4 are accepted, being accepted into the salon. So I don't know what the percentage is, but it's like maybe 50-60% of all images get into salon. And it might be even lower than that at the international level. I don't know. But then if you get, the next level is the loan collection, which is kind of the archives of photography. So if you get 1 of your 4 in the loan, you get silver, 2 you get gold, 3 you get platinum, and 4 you get diamond.
Oh, wow.
Diamond photographer of the year is what they call it. And it doesn't have to be a specific category like in Canada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
It is neat.
Every time I enter an image and I've done everything I can think of to make it perfect, and they find something that could be better, I grow a little bit more.
That's for sure. So, Shelley, if someone wants to have a portrait done or have just questions about having their photos done and so on, how can they contact you? What's the best way?
The best way is by phone, and email's fine too. So my website does have a contact me, so you can contact me through the website at svpphotography.com. You can also contact me at Shelley with an EY at svpphotography.com. And my phone number is 403-281-8429. And giving me a call and coming in for a latte or a cup of tea or a glass of bubbly to chat, you're not obligated. I'd love to have you come in and explore whether or not you'd like to do a portrait, and there's no obligation. If you decide to do a portrait, I have a money back guarantee, so it's no risk.
Yeah, that's awesome. Shelley, guess what? We're at the end.
Awesome.
I know. Thank you so much for being on our show. Do you have any final words of wisdom you want to share with our viewers today?
I think my final words would be everyone deserves to exist in portraits. And that's because some people really shy away from being in front of the camera. And often it's parents. The photos aren't for you. They're for your children, your grandchildren, so they know where they came from.
Totally.
So you deserve to exist in portraits, and your children deserve to have you exist in portraits, to be able to show their children, that was grandma, that was grandpa, that was your great-grandma, that was your great-grandpa.
Yeah, that's awesome. So thank you, Shelley, again. Just hang on just a couple of seconds, and I'll talk to you in a minute, okay?
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye. Remember, everyone, inch by inch, you can overcome any challenge that is in front of you. I believe in you, and I know you can get through anything. Till next time, be brave, be bold, and be yourself. Talk to you later. Bye.